Hello everybody and welcome back. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to show you this build. Oh, and actually, I think this is the first video that I've got my new microphone, so hopefully all of my stuff sounds a whole lot better. So welcome everybody, this is my DK. Oh my gosh, I've been not only doubling down, I've been tripling down, I've been quadrupling down, I've been quintupling down. It's my main of mains. I've been loving it so much, and I've got this great new build for you. So much fun. And I gotta tell you the name of it. The name of it's awesome. Okay, so I gotta take a big breath. The name of it is... It is the Maty's Magnificent Heavy Attack Dragonknight Dad Build. Player versus environment / player versus player can do over 300k damage, and it's awesome. Isn't it so much fun? Okay. I'm loving it. It's so good. All right. Or the short version of the name of I'm going to call this. We're going to call it the Dealer. All right. The Dealer, because it's a DPS healer build. Now, this whole thing started out from wanting to make a fun PvP build within the new update that we got. And so the new update made things a little bit, tougher in PvP. And so I was like, you know what? Let's just go the other way. Let's just go have a lot of fun with it. And then when I experienced that, it also worked great in dungeons. And then I'm like, well, it worked fantastic in Overworld. And then we had a recent event that was doing Battlegrounds. And I'm like, they can't kill me in Battlegrounds. And I'm destroying them. And then I took it to a trial. And I swear, I took it to a trial, and there's some moments, because it's a big AoE, you're going to see. It has a lot of great AoE and mob management. And in those big mobs and stuff, I was getting over 300k damage with the build. And I know it's because you get lots of enemies and everything like that, but that was so much fun. It's so much fun to see your combat metrics go into, like, the multiple hundreds of thousands. And it was a blast. And so I got to show you this. I want people to play on this because you can do everything in the game on this one. I mean, we all know this, end game, trials, you have to do a specific job. I've got my God Slayer and my Dawnbringer, and I'm working on my Griffin Heart right now. So I have to switch it up to another build when I do that because I've got a certain job to do. I'm the Zen DK in a lot of those groups, if people know about that. So for that end game, 1% kind of stuff, not. But like 99% of the game, you can play this and have a blast. Oh my gosh. I love it. Okay, so let's start. I even wrote stuff down today. Usually I don't use a script. All right, but I wrote stuff down today because I didn't want to forget a thing for this for everybody. All right, so let's start out with the gear. This is the thing you're gonna get. All right. Fun part of this is the helm. Okay, the monster set. So the monster set is Kargata. All right, you might not have heard of Kargata, right? Because nobody uses Kargata. So I'm like, I want to use Kargata. All right, Kargata has this cool thing in it where it says on dealing damage with a heavy attack. Okay, remember in the last update, our heavy attacks got buffed. So heavy attack build is really good for a lot of things, and the DK can specialize with the heavy attacks because we get one of the few reliable sources of empower in there that racks us up by like 80% for our heavy attack damage. So it's really amazing. So let me keep going. So on dealing damage with a heavy attack, create a 6-meter whirlwind that slowly moves forward for 8 seconds, growing by 3 meters every 3 seconds. Enemies within the whirlwind take 552 shock damage and 552 physical damage every second. Allies within the whirlwind reduce their magicka and stamina costs by 10%. The effect can occur once every 20 seconds, and the damage scales off the higher of your weapon or spell damage. This is really cool, and I have it in light and in heavy, And you can switch those up, which one is the heavy and which one's the light. Actually, for a few little points here, something like that, maybe having the heavy on the helm would be the best. But I've got light and heavy because the rest of my stuff is medium. But you've got the monster. This thing is so cool. I call it the shock and awe because again, nobody knows. Nobody knows or uses it much, and so you don't know what it is, especially if you're an enemy. All right. So here's what's really cool about it is that I'll do a heavy attack and watch what happens. Let me see. Do I have my sound up all the way on this? Let me just make sure that I have my sound all the way up in game because I want you to be able to hear this. Where is my game volume? Boom. All right. You hear the... I forget the dummies make noise. Oh. All right, check this out. It does this huge crackle of thunder and everything. And you see on the ground that AoE that goes out. So it does damage, and it does do a wider damage. So it's great when you pop this into someone into the middle of a group. But then the cool thing is that the people who know about it, that know that they're going to get resources back, they'll do this. I'll do this, and then people will congregate. They'll go into that AoE, and then all of their resources, their sustain is so much better. So it's so great for a group, not only of a group in a dungeon situation, but like I said, made for PvP, that people realize that, boom, they'll come and jump in that AoE and then go to town on the group in there. So you'll go, boom, and then I'll see people coming on in, and they'll do damage, and they'll be staying in here. Boom, 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 and having all the resources. Yeah, it's amazing. And again, because it's a movable AoE, and it's not moving with me, because you know how there's a lot of AoEs, and you'll see someone coming at you, with bats around them or whatever around them, and you're like, what? I can't get out of it. They're really like that. This one confuses people. They're like, wait, there's a moving AoE on the ground. What is that? And they have no idea. So shock and awe. Shock and awe. I love that. It's such a great, great thing. All right, so we've got our shock and awe of that. I have you know what? I'll talk about the traits afterwards, because all the traits stuff, because we don't have to worry about putting divines on all this stuff, because our Mundus Stone isn't the most important thing. It's not like we're trying to get a whole lot of crit damage or anything out of this and stuff. So I actually have traits on here that are designed for PvP. Basically, it's a mix of, well, I can talk about it now. It's a mix of well-fitted and impenetrable. And I'll tell you which ones, I have on which. And if you don't know those traits on there, impenetrable increases your crit resistance. And this item takes 60% less durability. The other one is well fit, reduces the cost of dole rage, roll dodge. There we go, and sprint. Again, good things if you want to dodge out of the way of things in PvP and so forth, and helps with your spread. So it's got a lot of helpful stuff having those two traits on there, and they're good for PvE stuff as well. So that's my monster set. All right, so the shock and awe. The other thing that I have on here is Plague Break. Now, it did take a little bit of a hit, but you know what? Not that much, because again, shock and awe in here. And the big thing with this one is that dealing direct damage causes enemies to become a plague carrier, dealing 4,000 disease damage over 10 seconds and applying the disease status effect. If the plague is removed early, it explodes and deals 2786 disease damage to all enemies in 8-meter radius of the carrier, increasing by 50% per enemy hit. This effect can occur once every 20 seconds per target, per attack, and scales off to the highest of your weapon spell damage. I love this because even if you just have one person on it, they're like, what is this on me? I've got this effect on me. And it's, it's glowing like that. So they'll dispel it. Boom. they get hit with a big thing. It's perfect if you see an enemy that's low or that you know you can burn down pretty quick, like maybe a healer or something like that within a group in PvP. You take that out and then boom, it hits everybody else around them in that. And it's, oh my gosh, it's the special for when you're doing you've got mobs in dungeons. All right, or in public dungeons when you're kind of going around by yourself and stuff like that. You burn one down and then boom, all of them are gone. And people are like looking at me, how are you doing? How are you doing that? I'm like, that's Plague Break. That's Plague Break. It's so much fun and does a lot of damage in there. And so it gets applied right away. So at the same time that I'm doing my shock and awe, boom, it's got the Plague Break on it. Yeah. Amazing. Love it. Okay. And then finally, the last part of this, well, actually, oh yeah, both of my, I'll talk about the stats individually. We've got dark conversions. Now, anybody that's been in PvP for a while now knows about dark conversions, because dark conversions can be annoying. And so we're like, okay, instead of trying to beat it, let's join it. Let's do dark conversions. Dark conversions is so wonderful because casting abilities that have an effect on the ground will create an area that applies a 60%, is that 60%? Wow. 60% snare, and 60% snare and pulls enemies in after 1 second delay, stunning them for 1 second. After 4 seconds, the area deals 3109 magic damage to all enemies in the 10-meter area, and then 6218 magic damage to enemies within a 3 meters of the center, increasing by 50% for each target. This effect can occur once every 25 seconds and scales off of your highest weapon or spell damage. All right. So what this one does, okay, it has this really cool effect on it too, and it yoinks enemies in. All right. So you can, so I've got, this is why I have my bar the way I've got it set up. I've got 3 AoE abilities on there, so any one of those can trigger them. All right. I'll throw out my rune one. I like that, so I'll throw rune out. Boom. There you go. Now, and I'll explain why I picked the like rune and eruption and everything in order and stuff. But yeah, that's what it does. It sucks all these enemies in and does a lot of damage to it in there. All right, that shock and awe. Okay, actually, you know what? I can talk about them a little. I'm gonna get more in depth into the skills in a second. But what's great about these skills that I picked is that they're all damage over time AoE abilities, and so I can lay down this rune that gets activated. I can then put my eruption down, and then I can put my am I using blockade or I'm using no unstable wall, and I put down my unstable wall. All right, so these AoEs, all right, again, shock and awe, because now you've got a monster set that is going to do this. Boom. I then am going to have, I don't know if it's off the cooldown, I'll wait a little bit. I'm then going to have a Plague Break on there that's putting this, that if they try to dispel it, or if I kill someone quickly, is going to be shooting out all of this poison damage. All right? Then on top of that, I've got some AoE abilities that I can stack up, boom, 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 and they're getting stunned and sucked into all of my AoEs. So if we do that all at once here, what we've got, I throw this out, boom, 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 I throw that. The shock and awe effect of everything in there, oh my gosh. Sends enemies running, or it kills them, or disorients them, and it's absolutely fantastic. One of my favorite things to do when I'm defending a keep in PvP is when they're trying to knock down like the inner door and stuff, and I'm up on the ledge, you know, where you can spill all the oil and stuff down there. I get down there and stuff like that, and I just toss down a rune, and I get all the stuff to proc. And everybody who's trying to stand there by the battering ram is like, everybody start to run, and then my other friends around me, boom, will start taking attacks at him. Drops. It's oh my gosh, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. Yeah. So, boom, there you go. There you have it. All right. And then the last thing to talk about is that I have in this setup, because I want it to be able to go off no matter if it's on my back bar or front bar, I have both of my staves are also dark convergence. All right. So now let me go through all of them with all the traits and the enchantments for everything on here. So starting with Cargeta, I have Max Magicka with Impenetrable. I have Max Magicka with Well Fitted. For my Plague Break, I have got Max Magicka with Impenetrable. Let me find my other, because you can do these in kind of any order, but let's get all the Plague Break ones. Plague Break there. Well, you know what? Let me just go down. So I went this way, that way, to Plague Break. I'll go down this side. So Plague Break, Chess Piece, Impenetrable, Dark Convergence, Max Magicka, Well Fitted. Max Magicka, Well Fitted, Dark Convergence for my shoes. And then for the gloves, I have Max Magicka, Well Fitted. And I have Impenetrable for the boots. So Impenetrable is the boots, the jack, and the helm. Well Fitted is all the little ones. Well Fitted, Well Fitted, Well Fitted, Well Fitted. For the jewelry, I have it just basic. I have it, of course, purple because to gold things out nowadays is crazy expensive. So I have this, and I just have it in arcane, not bloodthirsty or anything. I got arcane to give us some more magicka. Yeah. And I've got the spell damage enchant on it in arcane, spell damage arcane, spell damage arcane. Yeah. So wherever you want to have these or whatever you can make in there, doesn't matter the order of these things, just as long as when you get to the weapons that both of them are dark conversions. And my front bar is the lightning staff, which I have a flame damage on it with infused. And then on the back bar, I have weapon damage enchant empowered. There we go. So there's all of our gear. Let's now switch over to the skills, right? Because that's the next thing that we're looking forward to. So, okay, I got to move away because he's like chanting over here. Let's move over to my bandstand. Ah, look at that. I've got my bandstand in the background. All right, so skills. Front bar. We looked at this a little bit earlier. I'm using the Mage Guild Scalding Rune. Inscribes a rune on the ground. It takes 2 seconds to arm, and it lasts for 24 seconds when triggered. The rune blasts all enemies in the target area for 8492 flame damage, and an additional 13,091 flame damage over 26 seconds. And that's the one that I use to trigger, or mostly trigger, the Dark Convergence. I put that on the ground, they come in, they trigger the rune, so that not only are they getting the damage from Dark Convergence, they're also getting Scalding Rune. And then, since that's a prep ability, once they're in there, I put on a little bit of Eruption, which is a DK skill. Summon a scorching cloud of ash at the target location for 18 seconds, dealing 6578 flame damage immediately, reducing enemy movement speed, another movement speed thing, by 70%, and then dealing 1168 flame damage in the area for every 1 second. The eruptive damage can also occur once every 10 seconds. Then I have our wonderful, from our destruction weapon. Ooh, sip of coffee. Good coffee today. Slam your staff on the ground, creating an unstable storm barrier in front of you, dealing 982 shock damage to enemies in the target area every 1 second, and setting concussed enemies off balance for 7 seconds. When the effect ends, the barrier explodes and dealing all this shock damage. We love it. Shock and awe. Right? And then the most important one for the front part of this build. Dragonknights get molten armaments. All right, this is our source of our empower. Let's read it. Charge you and your group's allies' weapons with volcanic power to gain major brutality and sorcery, increasing your weapon and spell damage by 20% for 36 seconds. Right? Spell damage, hitting hard right at the beginning, is so important for PvP. So this is going to help out all of your friendos. It's so great. And it's for 36 seconds it's up for. You gain in power. This is the big thing. For the duration, increasing the damage of your light and heavy attacks by 80. Oh my gosh. This is so good. This is so good. We are, like I said, one of the few sources of heavy attack power comes from Empower. And we've got it. And we can give it to a group. It's amazing. All right. Then I have the Camouflage Hunter on here, mostly for the passive that we get within the let's see, what we get within the Fighters Guild. So in Fighters Guild, all right, Camouflage Hunter. Let me tell you what it is. So invoke your expertise in anatomy and enemy behavior to detect stealth. This is the other thing, great for PvP. You can click it and you can detect stealth enemies. This was around you for 5 seconds. Exposed enemies cannot return to stealth or visibility for 4 seconds. While slotted, you gain Major Savagery, Prophecy, increasing your weapon and spell crit. All right, for 26-29. You also gain Minor Berserk for 5 seconds after dealing critical damage on an enemy's flank. So if they're running away from you, I'm going to get a little bit more extra damage in there. All right, so it's got good stuff on there if I just have it slotted. And on top of that, you get all of these goodness in here. All right. Let's see. Increases weapon and spell damage 3% for each Fighter Guild ability slot. So I get 3% bonus there. You gain 3 ultimate anytime you kill an enemy. Your Fighter's Guild abilities deal an additional 10% damage. That really doesn't do damage and everything. And that. So it's mostly for our ultimate generation and this extra spell damage that we're going to get, 3%. So every little bit helps. Then the last one we have is Shifting Standard. Now, usually on my regular one, on my regular setup for my DK, I use the other morph in there. For this one, Shifting Standard, I really like, because you can move this all around the place. All right, because a lot of times, an enemy will see that you throw down the standard and then move out of the way. Well, that's okay. They'll move to a different place, stuff like that. Boom, I can move it with me. Call down a battle standard, dealing 4,000 flame damage every 1 second for 29 seconds to enemies and applying major defile to them, reducing the healing received and health recovery by 16%. Activating this ability, again, allows you to move the standard to your location. An ally near the standard can activate the Shackle synergy, dealing 9,627 flame damage to enemies in the area and immobilizing them for 5 seconds. Oh, so good. So good. Again, things for you and things to help your group. That's what we like. And if we find that in our class abilities, we also get this really cool thing called Combustion in here. Wait, not Combustion. Wait, is it Combustion? Yeah, Combustion. Increase the damage of your burning and poison status effects by 50%. When you apply burning to an enemy, you restore magicka. When you apply poison to an enemy, you restore 100% stamina. These effects also occur every 3 seconds. Where's the one? Let's see. I'm thinking of the wrong thing. Ah, this is what I'm thinking of. Basically, you're going to get all the passives in all of your class abilities. Take them all. This is the one that I'm looking at. Battle Roar. When you cast an ultimate ability, you restore 51 health, 51 magicka, 50 stamina for each point of the ultimate spent. All right, so you're going to get a whole lot of resources back. This is like the best resource gain for a Dragonknight. And so we love this. Put a couple of points into there. Like I said, we'll talk about your passives and stuff we can talk about. I always say that we can talk about later, but then we're talking about it. Put every point into every passive of everything that we've got here. Yeah. So everything in there, you're going to want that. So all of your Ardent Flames will boom, throw all the passive in there. They're so great. Draconic powers, throw all your passives in there. Earth and Heart, throw all your passives. Passive into everything within that. For your destruction staff, because we're going to have a destruction staff, so throw points into all your passive. Restoration staff, we're going to talk about in a second. Throw all the stuff into all the passives. Yeah, all those passives you want in there. Same thing for all of your armor stuff, passives, light, medium. We do have one heavy, which gives us a few bonuses and stuff. You can read through there yourself. And there, put all of the passive stuff in there. What was it? Guild stuff. We're using a mage guild stuff. Throw in all the passives. Fighters guild. Throw in all the passives. You want all the passives for everything in there. Instead of me going through that, you can read through that yourself. But basically, you'll want all of those passives. Everything that you're utilizing here, throw in passives to it. All right. The back bar. Boom. Here is all of our healing stuff. We're now on our Dark Convergence healing staff on here. And look at this. Look what we got. We've got Ward Ally. This is actually the other morph because I like that it guarantees us a shield. Call on your staff strength to protect you and lowest health ally around you with a damage shield that absorbs 7359 damage. The shield strength increases up to 100% depending on the severity of the target's wounds. Next one, Volatile Armor. Love this one. This is a DK special. Release your inner dragon to gain major resolve, increasing your physical and spell resistance by 5948 for 20 seconds. You release a spray of fiery spikes around you, causing enemies hit to take 6149 flame damage over 26. I love that because your shield, you're making yourself stronger, and then somebody's around you, boom. They're getting hit with stuff. It's like, wait, what? That person's, healing and shielding themselves. Why am I getting hit with stuff? Boom. Love it. While active, the armor returns 3114 flame damage to any enemy that uses direct damage against them. So yeah, so you're shielding up, you're increasing your resistances, you're throwing out spikes, and they're getting stuff thrown back at them. The ability skills off your physical and spell resistance, which is going to go up. Then just a standard wonderful healing ability in here. Share your stats, life-giving energy, healing you or a nearby ally for 13,434, healing over 5 seconds. The healing increases by up to 50% more on targets under 100% health, which is usually most people. All right, love that. Okay, then this is my new favorite toy. I didn't know this here because I was looking for a shield for this one, and because we don't have 5 pieces into light armor, which usually I do on light armor builds I've had in the past. Don't have it anymore. Can't use the wonderful Dampen Magic, which puts a nice big shield on you. All right, don't have that anymore. I'm like, what can I use for kind of a shield? And I found this Protective Plate. It's in where are we? It's in Draconic Power down here. Check this out. Flex your scales, reducing damage taken from projectiles by 50% for 6 seconds. So if you got someone, as you're trying to kind of run away and do something like that, and you've got like a little archer out there, a little sniper out there is trying to do some big damage to you. All right, and on top of it, gain immunity to snares and maybe stairs as well, and immobilizations for 4 seconds. Love it. You combine that with all these other ones, and our Coagulating Blood, which is our big heal. Drawing your Draconic Blood to heal for 10,564, increasingly by up to 50% additional healing based on your missing health. You also gain Major Fortitude, increasing your health recovery by 30% for 20 seconds. All right? And then our ultimate, Life Giver. That's all in the restoration stuff. Life Giver. All right? Oh my gosh, I'm going to die. It's up. Let's hit it. And I don't die. And my friends don't die. Release the rejuvenating energies of your staff to swirl around you, healing you or an ally for 1182 every 1 second for 5 seconds. When you activate this ability, you automatically cast Regeneration, Blessing of Protection, and Steadfast Ward at no cost. They will update based on which morph of this ability you have taken. All right, so our life gear in there. So here's our situation. I've been doing damage. Got all my stuff out there. I'm doing good. And oh my gosh, I got hit. I got knocked down. I don't know where they're coming like that. Shield. Our big resistance thing. I just forgot the name just now. So the Voltite armor. Okay, so shield. Armor. I got my heal. I've got my. Oh my gosh, I've got a protected thing that wings come out. Look at this. Oh my gosh, do I love that so much? I love protective plate. It should have a different name. It should be bat shields. I got bat shields. Boom, it protects me. I tell you, you want to feel like a Dragonknight? That's the skill for you. Boom, right around there and protect it. And if I'm like, if they're trying to stun me and get me out, I'll hit that first. Like, boom, oh, they got me stunned on the ground. I'm like, boom, no you don't. Shield, boom, heal, boom, and my big heal. And I'm out of here. Maybe throw another one and get out of town. Yeah. I've had this so much where like somebody will jump and you know, jump me and they'll have a friend and they start taking pot shots from far away and they think they have me. And it's like, no. Shield, boom. I'll do my ultimate in there. Got this. I'm getting out of town. I've got all this and they can't do anything. And while all this stuff is up, I'll throw down all of my things. And they're like, what? Where is this coming from? And then they're like melting. And they're like, boom. It's like, no, I'm going to stand in it because he's almost down. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not even close to down. You don't know. Oh my gosh. Like I said, I've been having fun with Battlegrounds. And it makes me yell. I love it because it makes me yell. It's like, no, you don't have, no. And I love like defending points. So, for right now, there's an event going on there with whereas you got to go after the artifacts and stuff. So I defend my base and like nobody can steal it. They can't. With all of my abilities, they can't do it. So yeah, and they have a really hard time taking me out. It's really tough to take me out with all this stuff. So yeah, so that's the back bar to it. Okay, love it, love it, love it. And like I said, take all the passives, take all the stuff in there. Let's see, any other passives? And, you know, of course, take all your racial passives and everything like that. So that's all of our skills and passive. Mundus, boom, Mundus, I take the Atronach. Yeah, don't really need the Thief. Use a little bit more increase to Magicka recovery. Yeah. Yep, love it. And actually, I'm, thinking about that, my Magicka recovery is not too bad. You could maybe put something else in there if you wanted to. I might experiment with that one. That one, we'll call that a flex. You could put that, a lot of different things. I just like making sure I've got plenty of Magicka recovery on me, so I'm not down. But I've got pots, and I am using a heavy attack, which were, lightning staff, which restores stuff back in there. But you could probably maybe put something, other ones on there to maybe boost up your Magicka, to if you want to go with more crit stuff. But if you kind of see without, do I have any food on? I do have some food on and stuff. My crit's not I'm not getting a lot of stuff from my crits in there. If my crits go off to activate a proc of something, that's one thing. But my crit damage is not really where the damage lies with this, as much. So I'm not too concerned with it. Yeah. Race, any race you want. Really any race you want. I was telling people I go with my Khajiit because they've got a lot of things that are kind of the jack of all trades. They have stuff that gives you stuff to health, to Magicka, and stamina, and to crit. So that if I were to ever, want to go to the stamina side of stuff, I could do it. Or the Magicka, or the health side of it. Same thing with Dark Elf, Dumber. They've got that same type of thing. But if you feel like specializing in something to get more Magicka out of it, go for it. So you could use a Breton, you could use a High Elf. Like I said, if you want to experiment on the stamina side of things, you can go with something else. But for this build, which is Magicka, in their High Elf, or Breton for recovery, or Khajiit, or Dunmer, those are kind of your best ones. Within that. So I'm a big one with racial. Play with what you want to play. And remember, racials you can always change. You can always change your race if you really want to. If you don't see that in there, in this channel, I kind of have a theme of using Khajiit, so we love them. So, but that's really when I first were making Khajiit characters. That was the reason, because of that jack of all trades. I could do anything with it, so that if a stamina side or magicka side or a health side of a build becomes more of the standard, I have the opportunity to switch. So there we go. Food that I use. Let's see. Food that I use for this guy. I'm pretty much the buy stat food, increasing health and magicka, because that's kind of my big thing is with the magicka stuff. This is kind of the reason why I don't use any recovery for my Mundus Stone, because then I can use this food in there. If I wanted to use a different food that gave me some recovery, then I could, feel a little bit better about switching to my Mundus, so that's a way to go with that. So there's a lot of different options in there. Also a wonderful one is Witch Mother's Potent Brew. Gives you an increase to magicka, increase to health, and gives you that recovery. So if you wanted some recovery, that's always a good food to have, food or drink, that'll stick with you. So for potions, I'm just using magicka pots, regular old magicka pots. Yeah, Essence of Magicka. So that's what I'm using for that. So all right. Then, see, I've got my list here. What's next on the list? So we did potion. So CP. All right, CP. Of course, the green and the, well, actually, green, a good thing to point out with this is that you probably want Rationer somewhere in there, because it does such a great job of adding time to your food and drink so that you don't have to, re-up it so much and go through your stuff. So that's always a good one to have in any kind of active build. The rest of the stuff is when you're just doing regular crafting and foraging stuff in there. For the red, and here I do have some stuff that help out with PvP. I have, while sprinting, you gain 100 health and magicka recovery. Survival instincts, while afflicted with a status effect, your core combat abilities cost less. So I like that. Slippery, this is such a great one. It's like an instant breakout of stuff. When you are afflicted with a disabling effect, you automatically break free at no cost. After using this effect, you become winded and cannot trigger this effect or others' life for 21 seconds. But it's so great for like the first time where someone will run in and stun you, and boom, you like, because like you're getting shocked and all, and you're like, whoa, wait, I what's happening? And you immediately break out. You're like, oh, okay. Boom, and you go about, the fight. So Slippery is a great one in there. And then Sustained by Suffering increases your health, magicka, and stamina recovery by 30 per stage under the effects of a negative effect. Again, making sure that we've got plenty of resources, having our health up, and everything, having that recovery is always kind of big with that. Again, these might differ with whatever level that you're at. But always make sure before you go after like all the different passive ones, because you can see all the different passive things depending on your maximum CP. And there, make sure you get like at least a point or two to unlock them for all the orbs. That should be your goal first. A lot of times I'll see people, they'll have one here, but they'll have like all the passives. Like the passives are okay in there, but you want these big orb abilities, so that you're able to do these things, even if it's at a lower level, even if it's not at the max level of what it can do, just so that you get those orbs and these things going in. Now, I won't forget about the blue. But while I'm thinking of it, also remember that this CP and all the procs and everything, stuff that I have on this build works the best in standard Cyrodiil. All right? It works the best in standard Cyrodiil. Things like, for our battlegrounds and for non-CP areas and stuff, make sure that you take that in consideration with like your CP in there, that it's they're not going to work. Battlegrounds don't have CP, right? I'm like second guessing myself. Yeah, I don't think so, right? Okay, you can check up on that. I'm pretty sure. So so make sure that if you're putting all this stuff in the CP and you want this stuff to work, you got to make sure that you're in a CP instance. So for my blue, I use resilience. That's the PvP thing, so you get more crit resistance, deadly aim, increases your damage done with single target. Thaumaturge increases your damage done with overtime effects. And then Master of Arms increases the damage done with direct damage attacks by 3% per stage. All right, so there we go. So there's your CP setup. Boom. Now, rotation. Don't really have one. All right? You are, of course, going to start out, well, actually, I could say a little rotation. All right? We only have to worry about our front bar. All right? For this, the first thing you're going to always do before you start a battle is that you're going to hit your Empower. All right? You're going to hit your Molten Armaments. Get that ready to go. And then I kind of just go left to right. That's kind of my start. All right? So I'll come across an enemy. Boom. Got my stuff in here. I'll throw this because I got a good distance on it. I'll throw that from a distance. And then that, and I'll go for my shotgun. If I happen to have an ulti up, boom, I'll throw down the ulti. All right? If they move over here, I can move my ulti over here. I love that. And there. And I go to town. All right? So that's pretty much as a rotation as there is. If it's a small group of enemies, a little mob in a dungeon or something like that, I'll just, start off with a heavy attack and let them all die. Is that going to hit you? Is that going to hit you? It did hit you. Ah, man. So anyway, because it always takes a longer cooldown on the big guy. So he keeps on throwing these shards at me. All right. And then, we've got our back bar whenever we need it. We're in trouble. Boom. Put on our shield, put on our stuff, Get our dragon wings, put our health on. Whatever we need at the time. Another shield, another health. And having that extra health and shield is actually kind of nice when you're in a dungeon if one of your friendos needs a little bit of health. You might be running without a healer. And I'm always like, well, I can kind of heal a little bit. Because I've got two really nice heals on there. And, one's a heal, one's a shield. So. Yeah. And, of course, if the ultimate's up, you've got your ultimate ability to be able to help out the group. So, yeah. So nothing too big of a rotation there, which is kind of nice because a lot of that. Now, this is not something you want to do a parse on. Excuse me. Because a parse is kind of a, for single target damage stuff. We really specialize in a lot of AoE. Here, let me drink a little coffee. Oh, good maple coffee this morning. Yeah, so don't parse with it because you're not going to get, big numbers with it because that's not what it's designed for. Like I said, this is designed for 99% of the game. That 1% endgame trifecta and stuff like that, you'd have to put on some other stuff for whatever the group needs. So I always like to stress that. There. So let's see. Oh, since I did hit them, I like showing this. I like showing my CMX, my combat metrics. If you ever see someone talking about CMX, all right, that's combat metrics. We've got this wonderful add-on, and anytime you hit like an enemy, it'll show you a bunch of stats, all right? The stats are overwhelming, all right? The only thing you look at when you parse on something is like, how much DPS did you do to an enemy, how much, percentage damage, how much crit damage you did, some of that stuff. But what a lot of people don't know, all right, that's the one that's got the sword that I think looks like a star. The big one is this info right here because this tells you everything I have in my build. I'm going to leave this up for a little bit. If you want to, copy paste this, from a snip program, from Windows, and copy this. This tells you everything in the build. Or just pause it and write it down or something in there. Because up here, it tells you what abilities do I have, what skills do I have on bar 1. Scalding Rune, Eruption, Unstable Wall, Molten Armament, Camouflage Hunter, and my Shifting Standard. What do I have on bar 2? My Ward, Volatile Armor, Rapid Regeneration, Protective Plate, Coagulating Blood, and Life Giver. So it shows you the skills that I have. It then shows you all of the weapons and armor that I have. I've got Lightning Staff of Dark Convergence. What's my trait? Infused. What do I have for an enchant? I've got Fiery Weapon. And it has that for everything. There's my Cargata. All right? It shows you everything that you have on here. Isn't that nice? That's the best part about it. So even if you're not, if you not in the parsing, you're like, oh, I don't need that combat metrics or whatever like that. Knowing how to read combat metrics, which I do have a video in my other YouTube videos, please go check them out. A shameless plug. Go check those out. We're close to 1,000 followers. Please go check it out. In there, be able to read it and other people's. You can check all this out. So, like, this actually is really good. You get to see which items I have as impenetrable or well-fitted or whatever. Yeah. Or arcane stuff. And it shows you all of my CP. Because everybody's like, do you have a list of your CP? No, but I can show you. So it shows you exactly all the points I have into my CP, which ones, the ones that have the little lit up circles, that's the ones that are in my orbs. In that it can show you absolutely everything. And that's really, really good. I really like that a lot. All right. So yeah. So make sure that you go on, go through that. So, yeah. Let's see. I feel like I'm at the end of the end of a class period, or something. For those people that know, I am a teacher in real life too, and just like, any questions? What are some of the things that you're kind of interested in a build like this? Did you want to know? Leave in the comments below. Please leave comments. I love seeing the comments, especially the ones where people like, positive comments. When people, are join the build or they try the build and they tell me, about it, what are some of the things that you're, in a build like this? Is this kind of a build that, goes with your play style? Is a heavy attack build? I really like having a heavy attack option, especially now. This setup was very similar to something I had with a mag blade, and I actually switched it over here because of all the great stuff, especially with the healing abilities, with the that the Dragonknight, does have, and some of the perks of being a Dragonknight. So I really like this setup better on a Dragonknight than I had on my mag blade. But on my mag blade, it was pretty much set up the same things, but the some of the skills of using like their execute was kind of nice, or stealth, like the back bar, putting a stealth on there that you heal yourself up, get yourself out of trouble, and then disappear and then find safety. That's kind of a good way of doing that too. So it does have applications to other classes as well, at least at the very least of DK and Magblade in there. So the Nightblade stuff in there. So yeah. So yeah, let me know what you feel about this build. Like I said, I've been doubling and tripling down, quadrupling down on this build. I've been really, on my DK, I should say. I'm really enjoying it. I'm probably going to put another video soon updating some of the changes I made to my DK for this guy, for the DK, for my single target and a lot of the end game stuff I've been doing. I'm actually in a prog group right now. We're trying to get Griffinheart. So I think we'll get it. We got a really good group. So yeah, so we're I've got some end game stuff. I've got some other dad build signal target, ideas for things, because we got so many good overland and craftable sets that are out there now that are really, really good. So I'll make another video on that in there as well. But sorry this video went a little bit long, but I really wanted to spend some time and take my time and make sure that I covered everything in here. Because I think I'm having so much fun with this build. It's so much fun. I've really been enjoying it. And I think with, like Dark Convergence, you can get very easily out of PvP, and I think you can buy it. Plague Break, the same thing as well, PvP or buy it. Cargata is out of Shipwrights. Is that correct? I'm pretty sure it's one of the new trial Shipwrights. Set items. If you don't know, you can always check out where something comes from. If you go to like your set items and click and just type in Cargata, there's the dungeons. Yeah, so that's from Coral Airy. I always want to say Ari. Coral Airy. And so it wasn't Shipwrights, it's Coral Airy. And go through there on Veteran, which is a little bit tricky. So probably the hardest thing about this is that. But everything else is very dad build-ish. So if you get a group that goes on through there and they're able to get you, the helms, and then you just got to, get the keys for the shoulders. You can do that. And like I said, I like having, since I've got so much medium armor, I've got a mix of light and medium in here. It's nice to have a little bit of everything, so that you can get some of the perks from each one of the light, medium, and heavy armor setups. So, yeah. All right. So thank you everybody so much. I encourage you, please do leave comments. Where I'm going to try to do a little bit better with a schedule of getting 2 out per week. I really want to kind of hit the YouTube a little bit harder. We're getting closer to 1,000 followers. Making my Twitch stuff. Because followers are the subs on Twitch. So Twitch, not. I'll say that from the beginning. I'm close to getting 1,000 subs on YouTube, which is like followers on Twitch. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Hit that bell. Do all the stuff in there and leave a comment. Do a like on there. I've been also getting into a lot of the community polls. I want to find out more about what you all like in here. And people know that in my Twitch streams, I've been doing a little bit of a different kind of variety. Not a variety so much of games, even though we do some Nintendo stuff a couple of nights a week because Nintendo is fun. But we mostly ESO stuff, but also music videos, and music performances. And I've been getting into cooking stuff lately. So I'm gonna take a sip of coffee. Cooking stuff lately. Is cooking something, maybe a video that you'd like to have on the channel as well? So, because the 3 big things in my life that I love is ESO, video games in general, of course, our ESO Nintendo stuff, music, and food. And that's always a big part of our discussions, either on Twitch or in Discord. And I'd like to see if you all are interested in having stuff like that on the channel for the YouTube in there. I don't know how all the algorithms and stuff like that work too much in there, but it's me. I love those 3 things: our gaming, our music, and our food. And so let me know. Let me know if you would like to see like a little cooking video of what you might want in there, or discussion about food or video games or music, or have more videos of me playing my trumpet or something in there. So let me know. So I encourage you to leave all those comments and everything. And like I said, if you haven't subscribed before, please do. Get us to 1,000, because then we can start down the path, maybe making a little bit of money from YouTube. It'd be nice in there to help supplement a musician's income. So thank you so much for taking the time for watching this video all the way to the end. I feel like if you've watched this all the way to the end, I should give you a little bit of something. You know what? I'll give you a tip. I'm going to list my Twitch down below. My Twitch is also getting very close to 19,000 followers. We're probably going to hit it fairly soon. I think within the next week in there. So look out for stuff. We're going to be doing some big giveaways when that happens. Some exclusive giveaways on Twitch about that. So make sure that you're following me on there and keep up to date with that. So yeah. So if you don't know, if you just watch my YouTube, so you don't watch my Twitch, go check out the Twitch as well, because we're going to be doing some great stuff for some ESO giveaways in there. So all right, thank you everybody so very much. I really appreciate you. Again, sorry for the long video, but I think it was pretty comprehensive of what we've got going on here. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know. Tell me all the things. And I'll get another video out to you soon. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.